Hey everybody, how are you doing? This is Kirsten here, and this is A Better Way with Kirsten Kimura podcast. Wow, almost didn't get my own name right. Kirsten Kimura podcast. Okay, so today we're going to talk about 10 reminders, 10 almost mantras that I want to give you if you are on this weight loss, fat loss journey, and you tend to get impatient, you tend to compare, you tend to worry, you tend to panic a little bit. Oh my God, how is this going to go? Am I going to lose enough weight? How quickly is that going to happen? So if you are in this mindset of like everything has to happen fast and oh my God, then you're going to find today's episode hopefully very helpful. Before we dive into all that, I actually have a bunch of announcements that I want to share with you. And the first one is this. Please tell me what kind of topics you would like me to cover on this podcast. And I've always asked that, but this time it's especially clear to me that I need to hear from you what you want. So recently I did an episode where I talked about supplements, where I covered which ones, in my opinion, are actually very helpful if you have health and fitness goals, and which ones you can, take it or leave it. It doesn't really matter. But this topic request came from a follower. And this is awesome because that way I know what you need. And this episode actually ended up being one of the more popular ones that I've done recently. Actually, quite a bit more popular than the other ones that I've done recently. And this is obvious that I need your input, right? Because I can do these episodes and tell you about the things that I think are beneficial, helpful. A lot of the topics are coming from conversations with my clients or others, but it is the most helpful if you tell me literally what you need so I can make the content for you that you actually benefit from. So please let me know, what do you want me to cover on this podcast? Send me a DM on Instagram, comment below. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can also reach me on Facebook, wherever you can. Let me know, what do you want? What do you want? And if I have the tools, then I will do tools and the knowledge, then I will do an episode on that topic. The next thing I wanted to mention is that I have created a new guide, which is called the Fat Loss Cycling Guide. And this guide is something that helps you to plan out your fat loss for 1 year. Now, the reason why I made this guide is that I see that so many women are doing their fat loss just absolutely wrong. And what I mean by that, why I say that they're doing it wrong, is that they go into a calorie deficit and then they stay there forever. It's like one long, continuous deficit, 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 like forever. This is what it seems like. And this is why a lot of people hit a plateau. You've been in this deficit for 6 months already and things are not moving anymore. Sometimes I see as long as, 2 years and the weight is not going anywhere. And people are worried. Why? But I am in a deficit. Well, the problem is that you never cycled out of that deficit. And this is exactly what this guide helps you to do. It teaches you when to go into a deficit, how long to stay there, when to take a break, when to go back, when to do a reverse diet to get out of that deficit and eat at maintenance. So it really helps you to cycle through these different phases that help you to have more success with your weight loss and fat loss. And taking these breaks and coming out of the deficit can seem scary for people. And I see this in my work every day. They're saying, oh my God, I'm so afraid I'm going to lose all my gains. But if you do it the right way, this will not be the case. And in fact, taking these breaks actually will help you to be more successful with your fat loss later, because you are actually making your metabolism healthier, keeping your metabolism healthier by taking these breaks. So grab this guide, make sure that you get it. It is linked to in the show notes and of course in the YouTube description too. The third announcement, I have a lot today. The third one is this. As you've noticed, I've talked a little bit more on the podcast too about the mindset side of things, some emotional health things, brain science a little bit here and there, stress, right? So stress resilience. So I decided I'm going to create a new Instagram account if you want to follow along, where I'm covering these topics specifically. And I started this account because I felt like I have been on my own journey for quite some time right now. And I really want to share with others what I have learned and what they might benefit from as well. So if you are interested in following that account, it is called Tara Wisdom, and you spell it TAARA_wisdom. I wasn't sure at first if I should merge this with my fitness account or macro account, but I thought for now I'm going to keep them separate. But if you are interested in these topics, please follow me there. And I share a lot, and I think it's going to be very helpful for, especially for those of you who tend to get a little bit more stressed and maybe a little bit more sensitive, not in a bad sense. Sensitive does not have to mean anything bad. But if you notice these things about you, then I highly recommend that you follow this account. And the last one is this: join my Fit and Fuel Facebook group. This is nothing new, but if you're not in the group yet, please join. Right now we have 10,000 steps challenge there. There's a lot of challenges going on. Every now and then I like to do one, and also other things. When we are not doing challenges, we're still sharing a lot of good information. Lately, I've been doing more mobility videos and stretching videos that are for group members only. Today, we're going to talk about ab training specifically. So there's a lot of stuff that I'm covering there that I don't talk about in other places. So it's definitely worth it. So join the group. It's called Fit and Fueled. And just like with everything else that I just mentioned, you can find the link in the show notes, and you can find the link in YouTube description as well. Okay, let's talk about today's topic, which is 10 mantras or 10 reminders that I want you to tell yourself if you are on the weight loss and fat loss journey. The first one is this: I will take this one day at a time. Okay, I will take this one day at a time. This means that you are doing your best to meet the goals that we've talked about. Let's say you have a daily goal of hitting a certain amount of protein, or doing that strength workout, or taking those steps, or going to bed at the reasonable time. Whatever the thing or things are that we've talked about, you're going to do your best to take it one day at a time and complete these things, okay? We're not going to worry yet. Where am I going to be 2 months from now? Is this going to be fast enough? What if somebody else is, doing it better? Where should I be 6 months from now? How is this going to be? So don't think ahead so much. Try to be in that day, right? So today, my goals were to eat 150 grams of protein and drink half of my body weight in ounces of water, right? So let's say these are a goal, and do it today, and then do it tomorrow, right? And then do it the day after. But think about today. What can I do today? Like, stop the anxiety about the future. Stop the anxiety, like trying to calculate where should I be 4 months from now. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you stay consistent with these simple things. Just simplify it for yourself. Don't take on this like burden of having to figure out everything right now and plan out all the other things, like, what exactly is going to happen, how much I weigh 4 months from now. Just drop it. Do the things that we've talked about if you're working with me, or if you do it on your own. Just take it slowly, one day at a time. Do the things as best as you can, and then the next day you take that day at a time, right? The next mantra is: I understand that the weight didn't come on overnight, and it will also not go down overnight. Okay, so very important to understand that, because a lot of people are in this extreme rush, right? It has to happen by 4 months from now. Like I said previously too, take it one day at a time, but understand that you did not gain it overnight, right? Whatever it is that you want to lose, you did not gain it overnight. It probably took you years. And doesn't mean necessarily that losing it will have to take years. So it depends how much you have to lose. It will probably be a little bit faster than multiple years in most cases, but it's also not going to be super fast. And you have to be okay with that. So remind yourself of the fact that I did not gain this in 2 weeks' time. So it cannot go down also in 2 weeks' time. Okay. The next thing is this: I understand that the quick fix diets are messing with my expectations. Okay, so if you've done any diet that has promised you very fast results and has delivered initially, that's the key word here, initially has delivered these results, these quick fix diets really mess with your expectations as far as how is this approach now supposed to work, right? So let's say you did something very extreme and you lost 10 pounds in 2 weeks. Yeah, it does happen. People do that. And now, okay, they have done several of these diets. They saw how badly these diets messed them up, how they gained it all back, plus some, how it was really bad for their health. And yet, the expectation is that this one that you're doing, let's say with macros, with like a moderate or mild deficit, this one should work the same way. You should lose that same 10 pounds in 2 weeks. Now, you got to understand that these fix diets have just messed up your expectations, because this time around you're not going to do it so fast. You don't want to repeat the same cycle that you've been repeating for a while, right? So accept the fact that this what you're thinking, how you think, like how quickly things are supposed to go, is just like really wrong expectations that are not true. Like you're not supposed to lose weight so quickly at all, and understand that this time it is going to take a little bit more time, and you have to be okay with it. The next one is this: I will do this in a healthy way this time. Okay. So, like I mentioned, many of the fast diets have been very unhealthy. And one of the ways you know is that you probably have gained and lost several times, lost and gained, right? It is unhealthy. This creates this unhealthy cycle in your body, really hard on your metabolism. If you go like super low calories to cut for a diet, and then you can't handle this anymore, and then you go up and you eat everything in sight, and then you go down again, this yo-yo effect is actually really bad for your body. It's not healthy. And we can also, of course, talk about other things such as adrenal health, right? If you are under tremendous stress, which is what you are if you are under eating, if you're overtraining, if you're overstressing, all these things that typically come with these very fast, quick, intense diets, then this is not healthy. And so many thyroid problems that people are dealing with, so many. They're like, yeah, my thyroid is really low. I don't know why. Well, if you've been eating very, very low calories, remember, thyroid is actually what regulates your metabolism. If you've been eating very low calories, you're putting yourself through a lot of stress. Of course, your thyroid will be low. There's nothing to be surprised about. So this time around, you want to do it in a healthy way. And if you do it in a healthy way, you cut your calories a little bit. You're not going to do an intense, deep cut and stay there for an extended period of time. No, you're going to do a moderate cut, which could look like, let's say, 15% of your maintenance. And then you're going to cycle in and out of that, just like I teach you in this guide that I mentioned before. And this time around, it will be a lot healthier. Okay. One other sign, of course, if that tells you that you're being way too unhealthy with your diet, is that if you lose your period, which is a topic near and dear to my heart, if you lose your period and uh, as a result of dieting or training super hard, then this is a clear sign that this is very unhealthy for you. This should never happen. It should never happen. So keep these things in mind and understand that even though this time around it may feel slower and be slower and be not as extreme, and you're not going to lose 10 pounds in 2 weeks, it will be healthier. And your health is as important to me as your weight loss. It's actually more important. Okay, moving on to the next one. Next mantra: I'll give myself credit for how far I have come. Yeah, okay. Let's keep that in mind too. It's not only about like future, how much more I have to lose. Oh, you know what? One of the things I got to tell you, one of the things that is really, what's the right word? I can't think of it right now, but for a coach to hear from somebody who has lost a lot of weight, a lot of inches already, to hear from that person, yes, but I still have a long way to go. And it really makes you like, ooh, I just want to tell you something, like, I don't know, squeeze you a little bit, because you're not seeing how far you have come. Maybe you have already lost like 10 pounds, or you've lost 20 inches, or you have a lot more muscle definition, or you used to deadlift with 15-pound dumbbells, and now you're lifting with, like, 120-pound deadlift with a barbell, and you're still saying yes, but. Okay, so let's just eliminate the buts, right? And let's stop talking about like, but I still have so many things to do. So I still have so much to lose. You are not giving yourself any credit, and this is not good. You gotta give yourself credit. You have to see how far you have come, the person you have become in this process. And that's really awesome if you're able to see this. I talked about self-compassion a couple of episodes ago. Go back to that. Have some self-compassion for yourself. Hey, I'm doing really fucking well here. I don't have to be so hard on myself. So this topic really gets me fired up because, like I said, as a coach, and I think if another somebody else who's a coach is listening to this can totally agree that it is kind of like slightly irritating when you hear this like, oh, okay, yeah, 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 but I still have so much to go. So make sure that you do that. It give yourself compassion, give yourself credit, give yourself grace, right? And I understand you have more goals. You can still keep working on these goals, but it doesn't mean that we have to forget about what we have done already. All right. Now, the next thing that I have here, next mantra is this. I keep my eyes on my own journey and I don't compare it with others. Yeah. So very easy to get into this comparison trap, right? It's also called comparisonitis. So anything itis ending is inflammation. So you can think this is like a really inflammatory thing to keep checking how far others are. What are they doing? Are they getting better? And I get it. Sometimes you see posts or you see somebody's success and you're like, oh, why am I not there? There could be a million reasons why you are not getting exactly the same results as somebody else. Like literally so many reasons. It doesn't have to compare. It really doesn't. So there could be like your age is different, your starting body weight is different, your lifestyle is different. You had 5 babies and the other person had zero. Uh, you are working full time and the other person doesn't. There's so many other things. Maybe you're dealing with some other health issues and the other person doesn't. Like you can't go like, oh, she has that and I need to be there too. Forget it. Keep your eyes on your journey, only your journey, nobody else's. The next one is this. I remove the distractions that, oh, hold on, I messed that up. Basically, I remove the distractions that are coming from social media. That's what I want to say. So, meaning, who do I follow? What kind of content do I follow? Is this good for me? Or is this just big, fat distraction that is not getting me not letting me to become the best version of myself, not getting the results that I want to get, or slowing it down. So check it. Who are you following? What are you following? Uh, if you're following only like really ripped, lean, six-pack bodies, and you're like, I have to be like this too, or else it's not good enough. Well, that's distraction. That's distraction because you're not going to even notice your own success, how far you have come. So be really mindful of what you let enter into your feeds. What are you taking in? Do you only see like really ripped and lean bodies? Because that's going to form your perception of how things, quote unquote, should be, even though they don't have to be like this at all. I've said many times, I don't think that having a six pack is something that we should all aim for. That is the most important thing about your health. It's not even like for most people, it's not actually a healthy thing for women. I mean, I'll take that back. I'm not saying that it's not a healthy thing, meaning that everybody who has a six pack is unhealthy. I'm not saying that. Some people very naturally are this way, right? It doesn't take them a lot of effort at all to achieve that. But this is a minority, I would say. And not for you to think that I have to get that because my Instagram is full of that, then clean that shit up. It doesn't have to be there. It's only putting you on your own on the wrong path. And like I said, there's so many lifestyle factors too. This may not be achievable for you. This is not to discourage you. This is just real talk. Like, don't you want to be just normal, healthy, fit person? Isn't that more important for you than like I gotta be fucking ripped? I don't know about you, like, but for me, like getting like super ripped is not my main goal because you also have to think what comes with it, right? What do I need in order to keep that up, right? Last weekend we did like a hiking trip again, 2 days, had some, plenty of snacks with us and had burgers afterwards and, chocolate and things like that. And I'm like, yeah, if I wanted to keep that six pack, I couldn't do these things. And of course, if it's a choice, if you want that six pack more, that's fine. It's a choice, but you also have to know what comes with it. If you're after that extreme level of leanness, right? So weigh it out. Is it worthy for you? Do you really have to be super ripped and lean, or is it good enough for you to be like, hey, I'm a healthy person and normal weight, and I'm feeling good. My blood markers are good. My energy is good. My workouts are going well. Um, I just love being here. I love doing the stuff. It's everything's good. So I think most people actually want that, right? We don't have to chase like extreme stuff. And that's what I'm saying. Remove the distractions that come from social media. Okay, the next thing, also very important to understand, is this. I understand that this takes discipline and is hard at times, right? So if you have a goal, change your body composition, get fitter, leaner, healthier, this does take discipline. It's not always comfortable. People get sometimes say, yeah, but all this like tracking and oh my God, so much protein. Yeah, it is work. It is work, especially when you first started. Like you may feel like everything is like turned around. Oh my God, I have to do these new things. I have to start eating more protein. Like I barely ate it before and now I want me to eat 100 grams. It's so hard. Yeah, it is hard. I know it's hard. I've done this. A lot of people, everybody who's done this knows it's hard. But also think about, what do you want to achieve? You want your health? You want your body composition, you want your fitness. This shit takes work and it takes discipline. And sometimes you do things even though you don't want to. But then you come back to, okay, what's the long-term goal here? Okay, I know. Okay, let's get back to work. So that long-term goal will bring you back to that next good step that you need to take. Okay, so yes, it does take discipline. It does take sacrifice sometimes, and you have to be ready for it. Okay, a couple more. And again, I think very important. I understand that I don't have to get back to my 19-year-old body or pre-baby body. Okay. Very, very hard pill to swallow for a lot of women who are in this like very like, but I have to, I have to. I had 5 babies and I need to get back to where I was before. So unfortunately, it's very unlikely that you're gonna be back, that your body is going to look exactly the way it did before your several babies. Just how it works. You're probably also 20 years, at least 20 years older, right? And this is again not to say that 50-year-old person cannot be fit. 50-year person can be very fit and very healthy, but it does not have to look like the 19-year-old you that you were, back then, 30 years ago. More self-acceptance, understanding that I'm doing what I can with what I have now, right? And it's going to be okay that I can't go back to exactly where I was before. Just some things, we want it or not, so more years, the longer we lived it. It's not that you can't be fit, like I said, or can't be strong. You can, but it's just going to look a little different. Also, your hormones are different, right? Your recovery ability is way different. I think most of you would agree that if you're listening to this and you're maybe late 30s, like I am, or maybe you are 40s or 50s, in any case, you know that your recovery is not the same that it was when you were 20. If you were drinking, for example, then you could, go out to party and drink and not sleep and next day show up for work, right? This is what I did. So, and now it's like, oh, hell no. Like, not going to do any of these things anymore, right? Not going out so much, not drinking and not doing, because I know that it's not good for me and my body won't recover. Same thing with workouts. In my 20s, I would be like, I could have beat myself up as much as I wanted, right? And my body was still resilient and came out of it and was still able to lose fat. Late 30s, maybe 40s, 50s, not so much. So we have to become like gentler with ourselves and make choices that are better for us right now, right? And understand that it may not look like exactly the same that it looked like in our early 20s before the babies. If you have kids, it's not going to look the same, but you can still make great progress and great changes. Just accept yourself, please accept yourself. Like, be kind to yourself. There's no point in, like, nobody has hated themselves into good shape, so you have to understand that. Okay, and the last one I have here is this. I remember that my progress is reflected more than just my weight. Okay, so we're not measuring the progress with the weight only. Excuse me. So how much weight I have lost. There are so many other factors too, right? And I think you already know what they are. But if you haven't noticed anything else, then let me tell you, your energy should improve when you are starting a healthier lifestyle, right? You start working out, you're cleaning up your diet a little bit, you eat more vegetables and fruits, you get your protein higher, all these things that I often talk about here. So you notice that your energy will be better. A lot of times your sleep will be better. Your mood will be so much better. Also, partly because you know that you're doing something for yourself, right? So that's it. Your skin might be better, periods might be better. I can't tell you how many times it's happened that women are like, oh, my period came with way less cramps, or it's finally regular. Yeah, okay, let's notice that. Let's notice that maybe your clothes are fitting better, even if the weight maybe hasn't moved a whole lot. Let's notice that you can now lift a lot heavier weights. Again, something that I hear all the time. I can lift so much heavier. I didn't know I could do it. Wow, look at me. I can, right? That's really cool. Other people around you are noticing, hey, what have you been doing? You look good. You look great. You have energy. What are you doing? People are getting curious. You feel better. Digestion a lot of times gets a lot better. So see these things too, right? When you are on this journey of your weight loss, fat loss, these things should be happening. And don't measure your success only. Don't put all your eggs in one basket and measure everything with your weight, right? How much have I lost? Right? Notice these other things too. Okay, so this is it for me today. I hope you found this episode helpful. Approach your weight loss, fat loss, uh, from a very calm perspective, right? Okay, I'm doing this. I'm remembering all these things. I'm going to take it one day at a time. I stay calm. I stay cool. There's no panic because let me tell you, one of the worst things that you could bring along with you into this journey is the sense of urgency and panic, because then you're going to burn out. You're going to burn out. You're going to like leave and you're going to go do another diet. And then the cycle of dieting and falling off and dieting, falling off, it continues. So this time around, I really encourage you to take it slow, relax, take some breaths. Even if your weight didn't go down this week, it's all right. Still take a breath and continue on. Okay. All right. So this is everything I got for you today. Thank you so much for listening or watching, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.